All right. Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing, Dallas? Um, I'm going to go over the budget proposal, some of the key points, not the entire budget proposal, but I want to definitely talk about some of the big highlights. And then what I'm going to do is pull some information and show you what it looks like from the Congressional Budget Office, CBO. Now, keep in mind, the CBO is a website that anybody can go to and pull down information with regards to the budget. So it looks at what is the projected budget. It also takes a look at how much money has been spent. So we can look at past tax receipts and revenue. And we'll kind of get an idea of what is this looking like and so forth. So I'm going to share my screen. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this article that came out today with regards to these tax increases that are being proposed. And, we can kind of take it from there. Now, keep in mind, this is in Bloomberg is who mentioned this. And so I'll kind of highlight a couple things that they say. I have not pulled down the plan. I'm sure it's a monstrous plan, but I just want to definitely talk about some of the high points, the high talking points. So let me go to my screen. All right. So here's what's going on here. The House Ways and Means Committee is looking to raise taxes to 25% from 20%. Right there. You can see it right there. They want to raise it 5 full points. Now, keep in mind, the U.S. economy has had a massive move up. So 5 extra percentage points is going to come up. It's going to be a tremendous amount of money that will be raised if this tax rate goes up to 5%. Now, people that are earning a certain income, there'll also be, it looks as though, a 3.8% surtax on cap gains for high earners. So keep in mind, folks, this is just federal. This doesn't take into account state taxes. Some states also have cap gains on top of this. So this goes to show you how much taxes might jump. So from 20% to almost 29%, it's a 45% increase. Now keep in mind, Bolshevik Biden was shooting for 40%, right? 43% is what he wanted. Now they're trying to say, look, let's only do 28, 29. And I'm going to show you why I disagree with this entire, what's going on here. I think it's a scam. And I'm going to explain why I think it's a scam and why I'm disgusted that nobody in the U.S. Senate or the House is speaking up. We don't have a taxing problem, folks. We have a spending problem. But you can, this package is $3.5 trillion. This was, I think, what they were trying to do with this a new bill and so forth, and this was going to be additional deficit spending, and so this is a big deal, and it can really put a damper on things. And I want to show you what I just pulled down. You can pull this down yourself too if you want it in Excel. It's from like I said, the CBO. It's not a government organization. This is a nonprofit. So you can go to cbo.gov. I think they said it's a nonprofit. I'm wondering why they have the handle, which is gov. So maybe there's two types. Hold on a second. Maybe CBO is a nonpartisan. Okay, so they're saying nonpartisan agency. So I guess maybe it is part of the gov. I kind of read it as nonpartisan, that it's not part of the government, but it is an analysis for the U.S. Congress. So for some reason, I always thought this was a nonprofit. So since 1975, okay, independent analysis, and that's what they're saying. Okay, so this is who put these numbers out, folks. So these are government numbers. I'm just going to kind of share what they look like in the past. So this is since 1962. I'm going to expand this sheet now. And in 1962, individual tax receipts were $45 billion, right? That's it, $45 billion. Now, just for fun, I'm going to see if we could put the GDP number on here. So this is as a percentage. So individual tax receipts were 7.8% of our revenue. So if we're just going to go, I'm going to enable editing. So let me just show you how quickly we could do this. You guys can always do this on your own. We're going to just say, okay, we're going to take these individual tax receipts of 45.6 billion, and then we're going to divide it by revenues as a percentage of GDP, and it was 7.8. Right? So this would imply. Let me see. We just have to divide it by this, which is we need to divide it by 100, I think, because we need to up the base. Okay, there we go. So that sounds about right. Our economy in 1962 was $586 billion. This is in billions, folks. Okay, so as time progressed, now this goes to show you how much they have debased our money. They've been debasing our money for decades now. And as a result of all that inflation, they're saying that we're about a $21 trillion economy. So now if you take this number, the 21 trillion, and you divide it by the 586, they would try to tell you the economy grew 36-fold. Now that's a bunch of nonsense. There is no way the economy grew at 36-fold. Okay, but so let's see what that looks like when you have inflation for 59 years at 2%. So if we have, and keep in mind that number is probably too low. It's probably higher than that. So if we do 2% for 59 years, you get a 3.22. So then they're basically saying, if you believe that inflation number, the economy grew 11-fold. So if there was no inflation, the economy should have been about $6.5 trillion. So needless to say, there's almost $14.5 trillion of shuffling going on with our money, where they're inflating it away, and every percent of inflation, if you have 1% inflation and you're the one that can capture it. So I want you to imagine this for a second, folks. This country is worth $100 trillion, $120 trillion, the equivalent of almost every worker in America. If you handed them a check for $1 million, $1 million, they would, that would be 125 trillion. So if the country is worth 120, that gives you an idea how much $120 trillion is. Every working American that works full time, you handed them $1 million. That's what this nation is worth on paper, right? This is our net worth. So if I said, Bobby, I want to figure out how to steal legally, right, through the Fed, $2 trillion a year. I want to pocket $2 trillion. Bobby wants a cut of $2 trillion a year, $2.5 trillion. How would Bobby do it? I'm going to create inflation. And then I'm just going to take 2% of the value of all the assets in the economy. So if the economy is worth 125 trillion, if I have a 2% inflation number and I know where I'm creating inflation in the system, I peel off 2 trillion, $2.5 trillion, because I'll turn around and situate myself in the assets that are going to move up. I'll sell the assets that I think I'm going to drive down, and I'm going to keep taking a skim off of everybody's money. And that's what the Federal Reserve is. It is nothing more than a sophisticated skimming operation on our economy. And you can look at these numbers and see for yourself. Okay, so right here, let me go back to that. You can see for yourself that it's quite a skim. How much has been skimmed, over time. Now keep in mind, I'm just showing you just 2 points today and then versus 1962. But let's not forget about the skim that took place the entire time this was going down, right? As of right now, it's $14.4 trillion of fluff in the economy that's mispriced. So now, well, what I would like to do is say, okay, this economy was 585, right? Now, that was the baseline. But I want to, in particular, I'm going to focus on what happened in the year 2000. So I recently said corporate income taxes were $200 billion. And people might be like, okay, $200 billion, what's the big deal, Bobby? Why is that a problem? And I said, well, it's a big problem because, individual taxes and payroll taxes were 1.6 billion. So in the year 2000, okay, these taxes were 1.6 billion dollars, and then corporate income taxes were 207. So when we fast forward to today, okay, we've almost doubled. We're at 2.9 billion in payroll taxes, and corporate taxes are still at 211. But here's the rub. Since the year 2000, corporate profits are up fivefold. So let me show you where it's at. People are like, Bobby, that just sounds crazy. Are you sure that corporate profits are up fivefold? And I don't feel like pulling up the 400-page report, so I'm going to pull up corporate profits the past 20 years. I think I could quickly find it. Hold on a second. Past corporate profits past 20 years. This is not bad. Trading Economics is a pretty good site. So let me see here. So we're going to go 25 years. And, right here in the year 2000, you can see that corporate profits were at about $500 billion right here. This is a 500, right? I'm not seeing things. This is 500. And corporate profits were about 500 billion. You fast forward to today, look at that. We're on a run rate. This is not updated. I know the number passed 2.5 trillion. So corporate profits are up to 2.5 trillion with a T, folks. Okay? 2.5 trillion. But look at these damn taxes. So corporations, woe is me. Now keep in mind, folks, I'm not talking about corporations on U.S. soil. The average American company that is an American first company, I'm talking about the restaurants and the bars and the beauty salons and the construction companies and the electricians. That's not the small businesses I'm talking about that are paying. We're paying the freight. Those folks are paying all those taxes. I'm talking about the people that have been stiffing us are these global corporations that are censoring us. I mentioned this before. I'll say it again. 13 companies since the year 2008-9 have gone from earning about $50 million a day in profits to $1 billion a day. They're making 20 times as much money as they were 13, 14 years ago. 20 times. How are they doing that? Well, because they've weaponized our data, folks. They figured out how to steal our edge. It's like playing poker, and you go to the casino, you play poker, and you don't get to the house always sees your hand. I want you to think about that. Imagine if you went to the Vegas and there was cameras above you and they zoomed in on your cards while you were playing poker, and they had an earpiece and they told the dealer what you had. What do you think? You want to play? So that's that's why these companies are ripping us off as much as they are. They've literally rigged the game. They trade on our own inside information about what we think, how we're doing stuff. And that's the deal. Look, I'm showing you guys the numbers. You may be like, nobody has debunked anything I've said so far. I was just talking to someone about that with regards to voter fraud and everything else. Nobody has come out and said, Bobby, you're way off on your analysis. The numbers are all wrong. I've made a bunch of sloppy mathematical arithmetic mistakes or something. And all I'm telling you is I double check and triple check before I say things with regards to numbers, because a lot of people are watching and they're looking over what I have to say. And I want to be careful about what I say unless I have the proof. That's why I like to show everybody the data source. Because then if you guys contact me and say, Bobby, the CBO sucks, doesn't matter, it was around since 1975, you should look at XYZ. Let's see what it looks like when you look at that one. And then I'd be like, okay, that's a conversation worth having. Let's see why they have superior data. But until then, I'm going to use what I think to be the most accurate, and I say that word loosely, because I think that what they're reporting is accurate based on what they've been given. But what I think is going into that so-called accurate number is a bunch of nonsense. I think there's a lot of cheating going on and a lot of fraud taking place right before our very eyes. And I think we need to stop it. We need to do something about it. So that's the deal, folks. This is real. So when I sit there and I think about these taxes, that they're going to be like, oh, we're going to raise corporate taxes. Folks, they're not even paying they're not paying the tax rates that they have. So what are they going to do? Offshore something twice? Come on. It's you know what it is? It's all circuses. It's like, you know what? That's not the problem, folks. They're like, oh, we're gonna charge this higher tax rate. They're just punching all the small businesses in this country in the face that follow the rules and the laws, because if they don't, they go to jail. These global corporations, they just have some accountants overseas. We signed it just fine. We paid our taxes. Oh, we made an error. Maybe you'll catch us 5 years from now and fine us less than we owed in taxes anyways. So we'll make some errors. You ever notice that they don't want you to give you the receipt now at the gas station? I can't help but think, the way my mind works, I can't help but think that if they don't print the receipt, maybe the revenue doesn't exist. They just take the money. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But it's just like one of these things where it's like, man, I'm just wondering how the government makes sure that the money that company collects from the gas, if they don't print the receipt, are they really trying to save paper, or are they just making sure that they destroy the paper trail? Which one is it? Anyways, I was always curious about that. That's something that just kind of scratches on my brain, as they would say. There's a great show. I'm going to send the clip to everybody, I think later. It's called iRobot. I don't know. I think it's iRobot. Hold on. Or no, Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot. You guys should check it out. It's a phenomenal show. This guy, this hacker, it's pretty wild. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to this budget. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before. But here is a budget of various spending in our country. So this is the 2021 baseline budget. Okay. And you could download this, folks. Go to cbo.gov publication/publication/57218. And, just rewind the clip and pull it down. But basically, you can see the type of spending: discretionary, defense, Department of Defense, military program. And this is all publicly available, right? So we can see this is in millions of dollars, how much money is going to be spent on different divisions of our government, as well as different programs within our government. So I'm going to freeze this. I want to just show you, the way my mind works on this is I'm like, you know what? Let's take a look. Let's go to the videotape, see how much money is being spent on this stuff, right? So we're going to just pull this up, and I'm going to be like, well, how much they want to spend over the next 10 years? We're just going to do a quick summary. So we already know what 2021 is. So then we're going to go out to 2031. And okay, why isn't this clicking? That's weird. I don't know why. Oh, maybe it's a CSV. Let me take a look here. I'm going to save it real quick. Okay. Hold on a second. I don't know why it's not doing that. Doesn't make sense. Okay. Well, my Excel's sticking. I don't usually have that happen, so I'm not sure why it's sticking. But what I would say is these different divisions, you can see military personnel, how much we spend on that, operations and maintenance, military construction, research, procurement. This is just Department of Energy. You know, this is the Defense, Department of Defense. Then you can scroll down and you can see Homeland Security, Coast Guard, cybersecurity. You can see international aid, how much money is being skimmed there, folks. The Clintons come to mind. Department of State. This is where the rich kids in the country, the kids that are born into really wealthy families that have no skills, that they usually try to work for the State Department so they can have their 3-hour lunches with cocktails and figure out how to push their will onto foreign countries, folks. That's the problem, is we have too many people in the State Department that are a bunch of second-handers. You know, they don't know how to create, they just take. And, you know, kind of fits their MO. They were born into a lot of money. They don't know how to create money at times. They're not all of them, but the ones that seem to flow into the State Department fit that bill. You can look at NASA, how much we spend, Department of Energy. Anyways, there's 2,000 lines almost, 1,960 something lines. And you can look at the budget right here. And this is in millions of dollars. So let's just look at some big items. Why don't we? So just for fun, I'm going to take, I'm going to go and take, I'm going to just do something here real quick. Okay. We're just going to take the agency, and then I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to throw it into a different sheet since my Excel is not working properly. Okay. And then I'm going to just put in a new file. We'll do a paste special, do the values real quick. And then we'll just take it real quick and just look at, you know, how much money, what's the biggest, let's go to the videotape. Where are we spending our money as a society, folks, in the federal government? Because I think we need to cut the government in half, the federal government, at a minimum. It used to be 1/8 the size that it is now. So now keep in mind, here's where we're at. And I can explain why later. Okay, so Department of Treasury. Okay, so this is interest on public debt. $500 billion. That's unbelievable. Think about that scam. $533 billion. Social Security is $992. Can I ask you guys a silly question? Hey, I want to go to the video for this. If Social Security payments out are $1 trillion a year, and they've been collecting our Social Security money every freaking year for almost 100 years, why the hell do we have interest on public debt? Doesn't make any sense, does it? We should be collecting interest. We should be collecting money from all that money that we paid into the government for Social Security. But they didn't actually do anything with it other than spend it. That's the problem, folks. That's why they have a history of ripping us off. I think that we should move to have Social Security moved back into people's individual account over a 10-year period. 10% in year one of all money collected by the federal government goes back into an individual account of a real worker that's paying taxes in the United States. Year 2, 20%. Year 3, 30%. Year 4, 40%. And we wean off the theft of our Social Security money once and for all. So anyways, I'm off my soapbox. Let's go back to the data. So why is the Internal Revenue Service have $561 billion going to it? I don't know what this is. I mean, maybe there's some redundancy here. Department of Treasury, $362 billion. Food and Nutrition, $147 billion. SBA, think about that, $144 billion. Why is the federal government picking winners and losers in our society? There is no reason why they should be doing anything. There's more money being spent by the government picking winners and losers right now in society, possibly, than military retirement. It doesn't make any sense. Here's the federal student aid. So you want to know why tuition is sky high? This is the problem. The reason why student aid, the federal government giving money to colleges, is why they punch us in the face. Can you imagine every time you went to McDonald's, or somewhere, right? You know, I don't eat McDonald's anymore. I used to, but if you go and eat some food at the one of these little fast food places, and you never had the price, there was no price. You just walk in and look at the menu. What do you want, Bobby? Well, where's the pricing? We're gonna price it the way you price college today. The hell does that mean? Just take whatever classes you want. Just pick whatever you want on the food menu. Just eat it up, babe. Just eat it. We're going to send the bill to the federal government. Oh, by the way, we're going to do layaway, Bobby. We're going to let you eat as much as you want, and we're going to give you a student loan. We're going to give you a food loan. So we'll give you a food loan. You eat what you want, and then you'll pay us back over 20 years. What do you think? Just eat up. And anyways, that's what leads to this horse shit. Okay, that's what it is. People don't like it when I swear, but I don't think horse shit's a swear word. I think there is such a thing as horse shit, and that's just the way it is. But this is some of that right there. And this is why we're getting punched in the face, folks, and how they rip us off with all this stuff with college. Anyways, we go to, I'll go back to here, take a look at this data. Now, it is pretty interesting. I'd like to see how this lines up with the real data. But I love these round numbers. Military sales program, $50 billion. Federal emergency, $50 billion. Like, let's just make it a nice, cool $50 billion. What do you say among friends, right? Like, why? I'm just like, I'm looking at this stuff. The administration of Social Security is $43 billion. Just to administer all the money being paid out, they spend $43 billion. And think about all the fraud that's there, right? I mean, this is unbelievable, folks. Anyways, you know what? It's starting to turn my stomach. I gotta stop looking at it right now, because looking at these numbers is just turning my stomach right now. I'm not sure if anybody in the U.S. Senate actually looks at these numbers. I think it would be a really cool thing to ask, is you ask anybody who's currently a member of Congress in the House or the U.S. Senate and say, hey, have you looked at the budget? The top 2,000 ways we spend our money. You vote on spending our money. Did you even look at the damn bill? And I'm guessing not. I'm guessing they're not looking. They follow orders, right? They're selected and not elected, and I think they just do whatever is thrown in front of them without thinking. So they might as well be circus monkeys, right? Like the monkeys that do the tricks and everything at the circus, or maybe we got to call them something else. What else they got? I guess the bears do some tricks on a ball and stuff. I'm not sure. We need to figure out which circus animals our members of Congress are, and give them awards like they're circus animals, because they listen to the music and they don't think. And they don't question these numbers and how insane they are. But I guess they do hold good parties, like Crenshaw. That $100,000 birthday party down in Texas. It's a hell of a thing. When you make less than $200,000 a year as a salary, but you spend $100,000 on a party, that's unbelievable. It's a hell of a perk. I'm not sure how you get that money, but maybe he's got some friends that help. And so, what's a few million among friends, right? Hey, Crenshaw, just do what you're told and don't ask any questions. And heaven forbid you look at that damn budget. And I know it's going to take you twice as much time to do so, but that's all right. He's not very good at math, folks. That's the reason why it's going to take him twice as long to figure things out, is because he's just a jack. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the clip. Have a wonderful day. And I will talk to you guys later. God bless. Thank you.